Hey, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Battlestar Galactica Deadlock Resurrection. I thought I'd go through the entire campaign and extract the voice acting and the introductions to each of the campaign missions, and also the battle sequences that took place at each one of my successful battles. So I thought I'd put them together in a compilation and put them up into YouTube for you. So say we all, let's launch those Vipers and get into the campaign of Battlestar Galactica Deadlock Resurrection.
Somehow we've kept this whole Galactica refit away from Cylon intel. As much as I'd like to enlighten them, over half this crew has rotated in from outside of BSG-75. Admiralty wants marks on the board before we risk our people out on the front line. If you would, Mr. Singh?
Sir, a Cylon recon group in the Berry Center almost outed us a few times while Galactica was being put back together. Our first live operation is to remove the scout fleet from the Caprica-Gemini binary.
Commander, I know you being here may muddy the waters. Some of the old crew still hold you and Kane accountable for what happened to us at Caprica. But Sarkis wants Galactica back in Colonial Fleet, and I need your experience on this deck. Mr. Singh, all orders from the operational commander are heard as if they come out of my own mouth. Understood?
Yes, sir. Battlestar Group 75 is ready when you are, Commander.
Escort clearance zone is active.
Admiral, welcome aboard. Thought I'd get a bit more time before you came with the leash.
Silas, good to see you back on your feet. How's she handling?
Still rough around the edges, but better than expected given the timeline. Mr. Quaid's lived up to his end of the bargain. Guess that means we have to live up to ours.
We can let him stew on Vergon for a little while longer. He hasn't earned his chance at a new life just yet. It is good to see Galactica back in the sky. Means a lot to the people back home.
Means something to those of us still here as well. Though, I'm surprised Larson didn't ask you for a ground transfer at the Ministry.
After she personally pulled you out of the ocean, we both know the first sergeant would be your XO if we could prise the rifle out of her hands. Eleanor Larson isn't going anywhere. Semper Fidelis to the grave.
And Agathon didn't come with you. She is still active, I assume.
The Praetors needed elsewhere. If you feel your crew is ready to turn around, I've got another outing we could use you at. But I'd understand if you opt for shore leave first. Go visit your boy. Looks like he's grown since you were last.
We're ready now. I'll have the CIC cleared for your briefing in 20.
Admiral on deck.
At ease. Looks like you've settled in just fine, Commander. Good. Because I needed Galactica in this war yesterday. A mineral shipment bound for Scorpia shipyards didn't make its jump from Taron. The Cylons haven't shown much interest in our merchant supply lines before. Intel thinks they're more interested in hostages than the cargo. I want BSG-75 to rescue these freighters and free up the ore shipment. Show everyone that Galactica is back. That we can rely on her. We make the people happy. we can keep building ships. It's that simple, people.
Escort clearance zone is active. Escort clear zone is intact. Priority 1 is in safe hands.
Optimizing firing solution. Reloading. Target is 3-4 by 6-2. We're gonna hammer the fractures so they can't get back up.
They're breaching our firewalls.
They're already in our network. I can't keep them out. We're taking sustained fire. Finally decompression in Sector 5.
Switching gun to manual.
We're taking fire. Keep their target locked. Watch for clearance. Set secondary battery. Full attack mode. Firing will. Reaching bingo fuel.
We have order received. Rally on me. Actual says to mop up and prepare for extraction. We've got them now.
No toaster's gonna do me like that. Not today. That's right, frackers. That's right.
I hope you got enough rack time, Commander. We've got an emergency playing out on Pallas, and Galactica needs to go be their hero. Mr. Singh will bring you up to speed.
Multiple explosions were detected across the surface of Pallas roughly 6 hours ago. Since then, over half of their pump stations have gone offline. The cause hasn't yet been confirmed, but safe money is on sabotage by the toasters. The Pallas domes have purifier contingencies for at least another 24 hours. That's some leeway before it gets real apocalypse down there. We're escorting a full staff of first responders and will be ready to jump as soon as Lieutenant Kobol has joined us.
I need flak reload now. attack. Charge 1, stay back.
Escort clearance zone is active.
Keep that black wall up. Firing on target. Firing solution is online.
Target is 83 by 88.
Reloading. Intercepting.
Switching gun to manual.
Keep your target locked and watch for clearance. Target acquisition is screwed. Give me manual controls now. Been through worse. Not today, Tin Can.
Set secondary battery. Full attack mode. Fire at will.
Go, go, go! Marines to airlock Beta and Delta.
Optimizing firing solution. They're braking. Push the line. That got a little messy.
Clean up order received. Rally on me.
After what happened at Pallas, Ministry thinks Lachesis will take another shot at ecology-scale warfare. And that scenario falls way outside of anyone's know-how around here. So we're going to recruit the best in the field. You'll have heard of Piotr Magnus, but maybe not as much about his employer. The Aspis Foundation holds the only dataset that survived the original Kobol forming operations. They run a tight interference on anyone trying to revive the market. So our boy Piotr is the head of the class when it comes to knowing how to make a planet habitable. Dr. Magnus is currently at Aquaria for some academic summit. Nash wants to bring him in and see if he's got any ideas on where Lachesis will hit next. We probably don't need to jump the whole fleet for this, but hey, nothing like a personal Battlestar escort to convince the civvies to play along.
Escort clearance zone is active.
Escort clearance zone is active. Priority 1 is in safe hands.
Optimizing firing solution.
They're giving us a hell of a storm, sir.
Been through worse.
Retain sustained fire.
Target 3-4 by 6-2.
Intercepting. Marines to airlocks Alpha and Delta.
Reloading.
Arcs incoming on priority 1.
Roger, sir.
Sustained incoming. Vector 2-3.
Switch deck, prepare for catch. We're done.
They're breaking. Push the line.
That got a little messy.
Take it with a grain of salt, kid. You know that thing fracked us around on Daedalus, too. Just ask the commander.
Speak of the devil. Sir, you probably need to hear this as well. We intercepted the packet at Aquaria, but it took us this long to open it. The encryption was thick. Here, take a listen.
I cannot stand by and watch you pull apart his work. This station is heresy. Their kind may be inbred, slavering fools, but his divine intent is manifest in their form. They are key to our growth, not a virus to be burned away and...
There's a set of coordinates in amongst the metadata, and it's not for the transmitter or receiver. It used to do that, right, Commander? Klothos would backchannel intel just like this to Daedalus.
You're not standing on Daedalus, Lieutenant. I saw firsthand what that kind of hope does to people. Of a deep informant parting with some critical piece of intel. Nothing from that Cylon is to be trusted.
No disagreement from me. At the same time, if this is an intentional leak, it's pretty clear Lachesis is brewing up something special for us.
We'll send scouts in to recon the coordinates. If the threat looks viable, we'll move in to neutralize it. Let me state clearly, no one is to interact directly with the IL, well-intentioned or not.
Escort Priority 1 still online. Escort cleared zone attack. They're breaking. Push the line.
Actual says to mop up and prepare for extraction.
Time to clean up and go home.
All right, let's bring our people home. No case is gonna do me like that. Not today.
That's what you get, frackers.
All right, folks, tell me what I'm looking at. Mr. Singh looks like he's about to burst.
The main thing is we can confirm that Lachesis is making biological weapons to target our civilian populations. Everything else is secondary.
Everything else?
Yeah, there was a lot of other data on that hard drive. For instance, the frequency that was...
The frackin' frequency.
The frequency that was ringing in our ears. I came across a recording of it attached to an incomplete set of coordinates.
Good find, Lieutenant. Are the coordinates complete enough to establish a recon zone?
In a couple of days, with intel, sure.
You've got 6 hours. Without another lead, all we've got is Cylons eager for unrequited chemical destruction. If we expect another attack like Erelon, then we're going to be ahead of it this time. You have something else, Sergeant?
Sir. Permission to rotate CIC patrol so I can administer to Corporal Ditko's vigil.
Of course. But take your rack time first. I need you on your feet as First Sergeant, more than I need you asleep as a chaplain.
The gods lift those who lift each other, sir.
Scouts got back 15 ago. They found unidentified fighters abandoned at the recon zone. Not Colonial, and not Cylon that we can tell either. No other contacts at the site, but one of the ECOs reported another instance of the frequency. He's currently with Coddle for severe headaches.
I'm gonna need more than that, Lieutenant.
We might be able to hone in on the transmission if we make adjustments to the Raptor's narrowband receivers. Then it'd just be a matter of getting it to the right place to intercept. And hope the crew doesn't lose their hearing.
Do it. And the unidentified birds?
We don't really know, sir. No radiological readings, no sign of biological contamination. Intel suggests we eyeball run them and see what the Cylons left behind.
Escort Priority 1, still online.
Escort clearance zone is active.
Now that we know exactly what we're looking for, it wasn't that hard to find another instance of the frequency, at least on its broad spectrum. We'll still need one of the kitted raptors to get an exact location, but with a third set of coordinates, we can work out exactly where the transmission is coming from.
We know where it's coming from. The ship that brought the 12 colonies to Cyrannus. Galleon.
Whatever is there, we need to remember our primary objective. Find the source and figure out how it relates to Lachesis and its sudden interest in biological warfare.
Say for a moment it is Galleon.
He's buying into it.
Say it is Galleon. What would that give Lachesis it can't find anywhere else?
Galleon is a 2,000-year-old vessel that carried our people from Kobol. The hands of gods touched its bow. The possibilities it could contain are endless.
The possibilities I'm thinking of are less charming than yours. A lot of nasty things can grow, given 2,000 years unchallenged. I'd advise extreme hazards caution, Commander.
Reel in our birds and prepare for jump. I don't like working on a ticking clock, but we're the only ones out here, and Lachesis isn't going to give us another chance if we frack this one up.
Escort Priority 1 still online.
Escort clear zone intact. Priority 1 is in safe hands. Target acquisition. Control now.
Priority 2 is online. Optimizing flight.
that got a little messy.
That's right, Captain. That's right.
No toaster's gonna do me like that. Not today.
They're breaking. Push the line.
They never stood a chance.
All right, let's bring our people home.
This is actual. Cleanup command confirmed.
Time to clean up and go home.
That's what you get, frackers.
Order received. Clean up and de-escalate.
One more for starboat, or do it.
We haven't used up the whole arm.
Scouts have confirmed there's a man-made construct at the source of the transmission. It's neither colonial nor Cylon, and the ECO couldn't reach it before they were forced to jump away. Our boys took a lot of fire on their way out of that eyeball run. The Cylons know we're coming, so we should expect heavy resistance at the site.
We have to stop them desecrating the Galleon. We can learn firsthand what happened during the Exodus. So many questions can be answered there.
I understand your position, Sergeant, but our primary concern must be stopping the Cylon access to the Kobolian ship. Then, we can figure out what Lachesis is actually doing in there.
I've been digging into that myself. The data we lifted from the research station is not pleasant. Best I can tell, Cylons are making a payload specifically for high spread effect. What they're developing isn't about impact. They want to maximize coverage.
A pathogenic agent.
A contagious pathogenic agent. Whatever they're getting off that ship, it's had 2,000 years to grow without the sniff of an antibiotic. Pandemic is not a strong enough word to describe what happens if it gets released into the wild.
I know I signed up for this, but you weren't kidding about high-risk service, sir.
Heads up, people. The stakes might be different, but our goal is the same. If Lachesis is on that ship, we evict them forcefully. We'll figure the rest out as we go. Mr. Singh, have the fleet prepare for combat jump in 10.
Check your solutions before engaging.
Get him, get him, get him. Reloading.
Plating's taking a pounding, sir.
Target.
I'm inbound on your port. 2 high 10. Optimizing firing solution. Target acquisition is screwed. Give me manual controls now.
Christian, I'm taking hits.
God damn it, they got me.
Crap. Wait. We're taking sustained fire. One shot. Just give me one good shot. We're taking fire.
Woohoo! What we do? Critical damage in sectors 1 and 2.
Sustained incoming, sector 3-4. Been through worse.
Nothing but the rain.
Not today, Tin Can.
Incoming! Eat this, toaster. Target locked and firing. Where's damage control?
This is actual. Cleanup command confirmed.
All right, let's bring our people home.
Actual says to mop up and prepare for extraction.
They're braking. Push the line.
They never stood a chance.
That's what you get, frackers. Cleanup order received. Rally on me.
That's right, frackers. That's right.
That got a little messy.
As soon as Galactica landed in Helios Alpha, we received this encoded transmission. Intel made sure to locate and cut the signal as soon as we had it downloaded. Here, have a listen.
Your failures caused them to stir. Watch as your empire crumbles around you, Lachesis.
Silence. You do not talk to me of failure, brethren. God's will be done by my sword.
Your infirm strategy can only be propped up with blunt force tactics for so long. Our supply lines stretch taut, while you refuse to exploit the bounty of resources closest to the fight. Aram Quad S, brethren, God shall find your will lacking.
His lands are for the settlement of our people. We are not bags of flesh that plow at the ground with bloodied fingers. You would have us blight his land as you blight yourself. You are an abomination, Klothos. Be gone.
Whew, that was cold. Robot has no shame if it's leaking its own humiliation like that.
Regardless of who sent this, Klothos has given us new insight into Cylon logistics. Lachesis has completely failed to maintain a sustainable resource sector inside of Cyranus. Their biological weapon project has left their supply lines overextended and vulnerable. While they reel from their recent loss, I am coordinating with Ministry to hit every Cylon depot inside a 12-hour range. BSG-75 will be responsible for knocking out the Cylon's Tilium Reserve in Helios Alpha. If even half the Ministry's operations are successful, we can start to dismantle the Cylon war machine. Enough for our ground troops to start fighting back, at least. We've still got a long way to go, but we start taking back our homes today, people.
Fleet group is jumping in.
Escort Priority 1, still online.
Secondary battery. Full attack mode. One shot. One good shot. Target is 8-3 by 8-8. Keep that black wall up.
We're gonna hammer the frackers till they can't get back up. Get him! Get him! Get him!
We're taking fire! Nothing but the rain.
All right, let's bring our people home.
Time to clean up and go home.
This is actual. Cleanup command confirmed.
Order received to clean up and de-escalate.
Galactica Actual. I am Lachesis. You struggle against an immutable future. The might of the Cylon Empire collects within striking distance of your beating hearts. Yet you still pull apart your homes, looking for one more rock you can carve into a primitive blade. I will not ask for surrender. I have attempted warfare, both lawful and not. My weapon would have healed every disorder you have inflicted on God's lands. But like cockroaches, you will not go quietly. Your continued resistance has triggered contingencies within Cylon Command. His will is no longer manifest in me. I would rather find glory for him in combat than subservience under another. You too should consider death a preferable alternative than what is to come. I await Galactica's arrival above Oranu.
Or fled. Yeah, we made that toaster run, didn't we? Yeah.
Set fleet to Condition 2 and start cleanup. We'll have time to celebrate after.
Is there anything to celebrate here, sir? We've just confirmed a third IL is now active in Cylon Command.
Let our people have their victory, Sergeant. No doubt we've got difficult times ahead of us. We'll take the wins where we can.
Escort clearance zone is active.
Escort clear zone intact. Party 1, stay back. Firing on target.
Not today, Captain. Not today.
Nothing to the ring.
Give me manual control now.
Escort fire still on top. That's very bad. All in back mode. Fire still.
Let's take the fire.
Objective shot by .13.
Command info detector 4-5. Actual station up and every traffic.
Mako fuel.
Order received. Cleanup on check.
The first sergeant was right. Once you look behind the curtain, you realize there isn't much to celebrate. Lachesis was a destructive force, but it was also a known factor. This third IL disrupts everything we've known about the war for the last 5 years. Our one consolation? The new arrival is as much an upheaval for Cylon Command as it is for us. We suspected their hierarchy was unstable, but the intel leaks cemented the theory. For what it's worth, I don't believe Klothos leaked those recordings to us. As much as those ILs bickered, it'd take a lot more than a couple of arguments about God to force a betrayal like that. So for now, we continue what we're already doing. Keep Galactica in the air. Beat back the Cylons one battle at a time. Keep our people back home safe. Whoever's leaking that intel, they'll show their face. Eventually.